Whenever I think of Christmas, I think of rum balls, and it's around this time of the year that I start making them. They make a perfect edible gift, and not only do they taste delicious, but they last for months and months in the refrigerator. Today I'm showing you 3 what I believe Australian, because I've been making them for decades, rum balls, and they're all quite different. I encourage you to taste the mixture before you start rolling, just in case you like more rum in your rum balls. And if the mixture is a little bit too wet because of this, just add a little tiny bit more dry ingredient, be it the cookie, cake or the Weet-bix. And this is how it goes. The first rum ball is the Weet-bix. This Weet-bix rum ball has a lot of texture and is the only one that contains dried fruit. Start by crushing 10 Weet-bix into a bowl. Next, add 340 grams of dried fruit. You can use any dried fruit you like. Today I'm using half sultanas and half dried cranberries. Add 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 3 tablespoons of rum, and 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. Mix it all together thoroughly. Then cover the bowl and refrigerate the mixture for 30 minutes. This step softens the Weet-bix and makes it easier to roll the mixture into balls. When you're ready, set up your rolling station with a bowl or plate of desiccated coconut and a small bowl of water. I find wet hands makes rolling easier. Take the chilled mixture, squeeze and shape it into balls, and don't worry if they're not perfectly round. That just proves they're homemade. Then roll them in the coconut, and you can also correct the shape a little bit whilst coating them in the coconut. I felt some eyes on me whilst I was rolling these rum balls, and it turned out to be a furry friend outside watching what I was up to. Once done, cover and refrigerate until firm. Transfer them to an airtight container and they'll keep in the fridge for up to 6 months. This is a classic rum ball and probably one of the most well-known recipes. You'll need 300 grams of any plain biscuits. Arrowroot are my favourite for this recipe if you can get them. Crush them finely using a food processor or the old-fashioned way with a rolling pin and a plastic bag. A few larger chunks are fine for some texture, and just crush any big pieces with your fingers. Place the crumbs in a bowl and add 2 tablespoons of icing sugar, 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, a half a cup of desiccated coconut, 1 can of sweetened condensed milk, and lastly add 2 tablespoons of rum. I started rolling them and then I noticed that my mixture was way too runny, so I added another half a cup of desiccated coconut. So if your mixture is too runny, add a little more coconut or some more crushed biscuits. This recipe is very forgiving. The texture should be sticky but firm enough to hold its shape when rolled. Set up a rolling station with a plate of coconut and a bowl of water for wetting your hands to help with the rolling. Roll the balls, coat them well in coconut, then cover and refrigerate to firm up. Once chilled, store them in an airtight container, and these ones will last up to 12 months in the fridge. This rum ball is decadent with a lovely soft texture. The recipe uses 500 grams of chocolate cake crumbs. You have options here. You can just buy an uniced chocolate cake off the shelf in the supermarket, or just get a packet mix and make that. Or you can make this really simple 5-minute chocolate cake like I do now. Combine 1 cup of sugar, 1 1/4 cups of self-raising flour, 3 tablespoons of softened butter, 2 1/2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 2 eggs, 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence, and 3/4 cup of milk. Give it a quick stir, then either using a hand mixer or a stand mixer, beat for 3 minutes on a medium speed. Grease and flour a cake tin, pour in the batter, bake at 160 degrees Celsius fan or 180 degrees Celsius no fan for between 30 to 35 minutes, or until a skewer comes out clean. Let it cool in the pan for a couple of minutes, then transfer to a wire rack to cool completely. I left mine overnight. In a saucepan, melt 160 grams of butter with 2 tablespoons of blackberry jam or any dark jam like raspberry or blueberry over a low heat, and remove from the heat once it's melted. You'll need 500 grams of this cake, and you should be left with a nice big slice that I just popped into the freezer for a later date. Crumble 500 grams of cake into a bowl, and it doesn't have to be super fine. We're going to mix it with other ingredients anyway. To the cake crumbs, add a half a cup of ground nuts. I used hazelnuts, but almonds or walnuts would work too. 2 tablespoons of rum and 2 tablespoons of golden syrup. And stir well to combine. Make a well in the centre and then pour in the melted butter and jam mixture. Finally, grate 100 grams of your favourite dark chocolate and mix it in. Adjust the rum to taste. I added a splash more for good measure. Roll the mixture into balls and coat them with chocolate sprinkles. I used about 150 grams of sprinkles. At this point, I was a bit over rolling balls, so I got Mike to help me finish up. Once done, refrigerate until firm. These will last up to 4 weeks in an airtight container in the fridge. And there you have it, 3 delicious ways to make rum balls. So I packed some of these rum balls for Mike to take to his work, and I took some to my work, and we tested about a dozen people to see which ones they liked the best. And the results were the cookie came out the top, closely followed by the cake, and then the Weet-bix. Personally, I love the cake rum ball, and then the Weet-bix, and then the cookie. So depending on your taste is which one you'll like the best. Thank you so much for watching. I hope one of these resonates with you, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Just one more thing. If you're gifting rum balls, here's a quick and decorative way to present them in a tin. Take some patty pans, and an odd number works best, and simply pinch them all together in the middle so they fit neatly into the tin. If you're using larger muffin cases, just use 3 and do the same. It's a simple way to make your gift look great.